Hello Internet and welcome to this day in history for the 3rd of November. Today I'm not gonna be describing a event like a couple of other times. I'm going to take a specific person. More specifically, in 1816 this was the birthday of a certain Jubal Early. So, who was Jubal Early? Jubal Early was an American general during the Civil War on the Confederate side. He was also, after the war and before it, a lawyer of good standing. Jubal Early's military prowess can be discussed, and in fact has been discussed. He was very successful as a division commander, but might have been a bit out of his depth when promoted to corps command, and especially when let loose on his own. On the other hand, he did succeed in giving the South its last great run of victories by taking his forces into the Shenandoah Valley as his old chief Stonewall Jackson had done 3 years previously, and in fact in 1864, late 1864, even managed to defeat quite a few Union armies up there and even threaten Washington, going to such a point that had he been even 1 day quicker and had a certain northern general by the name of Lew Wallace, yes, the guy who later wrote Ben Hur, not fought him in a losing but time-consuming affair outside of Washington, D.C., Jubal Early might in fact very well have taken the capital. A major stroke, of course, of success for the South that would have been, especially up towards the elections of 1864. In fact, he never managed to do that because General Grant, at this particular moment, decided to forego some of the more unsuccessful generals that was already in the valley and instead appoint General Sheridan to go over there, and little Phil Sheridan wasted no time in whooping Jubal Early, destroying his army and sending him back to Lee. So again, a man with a certain degree of military acumen, but this is of course not why I'm talking about him. I am talking about him because due to this run of military successful, Jubal Early's voice was fairly important in the Confederacy, especially in the post-war era. And Jubal Early, with his allies, but more than anyone else, was probably responsible for the lost cause theory, or the lost cause emotions that are still to a certain degree bedeviling the South even today. Jubal Early, more than anyone else, can be seen as the man who created disunity between the North and the South in the years when everyone from General Grant to even former Confederate generals like Longstreet were trying to reconnect the Union in one go. The split that still exists in many ways between the southern states and the northern states, while having, of course, narrowed quite a bit in the last 100 years, can in many, of course not all, but in many ways be seen to be the work of Jubal Early. So yes, this is definitely a man with things on his conscience. All of the split between the racist South and the enlightened North, such as it is, and just the South as it currently is, can be seen to be a wellspring of lost cause revengenists, and Jubal Early was the primary candidate of that. A lot of the racial hatreds in the South that was stoked by the Ku Klux Klan was also stoked by the lost cause that Jubal Early and his followers were propagating. So yes, Jubal Early and his birthday in 1816. This day in history for the 3rd of November. I hope this has been of interest to you. Until next time, I have been the Sage, and I wish you all a very happy day.